Alright, timer's on.
Good morning. My name is Kira Hayes, and I stand strongly against the resolution civil disobedience in a democracy is morally justified. Allow me to open my case with a quote. All too often, retaliation injures the innocent at random and provokes counter-retaliation against those equally innocent. Source, Morris I. Liebman. While it is true that the freedom to act in civil disobedience is not necessarily illegal, and it is essentially a human right, it is certainly not always morally justified. There are many accounts in history to prove when civil disobedience has been taken to an extreme, and instead of promoting society's well-being, it actually corrupted it. In those instances, civil disobedience was being used as a tool for evil and not for good. Observation 1, definitions. I agree to the affirmative team's definitions, however, I would like to propose my own definition for civil disobedience. I would like to define it as the refusal to comply with certain laws or pay taxes and fines as a peaceful form of political protest. For the sake of my argument, I would also like to introduce the definition of social contract. Social contract is defined as the view that a person's moral and/or political obligations are dependent upon a contract or agreement among them to form the society in which they live. Observation 2, value. The value that I will be using to fight against the resolution today is the value of human rights, defined as the rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other status. Human rights include the right to life, liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, and the right to work and education. Everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination. Observation 3, criterion. The criterion that I will be using to uphold the value of human rights is the rights that are included for each person through the social contract. Observation 4, contentions. Contention 1. The democratic form of government has been put in place by social contract theory, and civil disobedience seeks to destroy this theory. Quote, the basic tenet of a democracy is that the majority hold power on each issue. Negotiations, coalitions, and the agreements create a group which makes decisions for the society based on the voting will of the general public. Acts of civil disobedience change this dynamic because those participating seek to change this structure. They want the voice of the minority to take precedence over the will of the majority. Source, connectus.com. Summary. If we allow each person to freely execute their own civil disobedience, eventually we will be breaking down the structure of our democracy, which supports our human rights. The social contract was created to be able to live peaceably with moral and political rules of behavior. Contention 2. To have rules in a governing body allows individuals to live morally and peaceably, and in turn respecting the human rights provided by the social contract. Quote, let every American, every lover of liberty, every well-wisher of his posterity swear never to violate in the least particular the laws of the country, and to never tolerate their violation by others. Source, Abraham Lincoln. Summary. By abiding by the laws, citizens of a democracy are respecting their own human rights. The overall governing body, which the people appointed, aids each individual in their social and moral conduct, allowing them to make decisions for themselves that adhere to the social contract. Civil disobedience stands against the important overall governing body, and thus stands against moral conduct of democracy. In response to the affirmative's case, they have also suggested the value of human rights. However, their definition of this value is not substantial to the defense of the resolution. In the first contention, the affirmative mentioned that in a democracy, civil disobedience is a human right. While it may be a human right, it should not, I said civil, just democracy, I meant civil disobedience. While it may be a human right, it should not be justified because it can lead to violence, which will strip others of their human rights and result in harmful outcomes. Quote, every man who has in his soul a secret feeling of revolt against any act of the state, of life, or of destiny is on the verge of riot, and so soon it appears he begins to quiver, and to feel himself borne away by a whirlwind. Source, Victor Hugo. Summary. Even the slightest bit of rebellion towards the government in the form of civil disobedience can turn from a docile thought to a hostile action, unfathomably quick. Civil disobedience is a tool and a means of expressing one's rights. However, this tool is used for harm rather than help, far too often to be justified absolutely. Secondly, the affirmative said, civil disobedience is necessary for rejecting oppressive government. However, quote, laws must be followed because they have been created under a free and democratic system. When the people who are affected by laws negatively have the ability to legally fight against them, they should under no circumstance disobey the current laws. In conclusion, while there may be a time to stand up for the rights of men through peaceful civil disobedience, the value of human rights, supported by the criterion of social contract, evidently proves that civil disobedience can not only result in violent actions, but is also slowly breaking down the system of democracy. The democratic government was founded upon the social contract, without which society could not stand peaceably and morally. No system of government should permit a form of self-expression that tears society down from the inside out. Acts of civil disobedience selfishly concern the opinions of those in favor of the protest and do not consider the well-being and rights of the greater population. Thank you. I'm now ready for cross-examination.